In this video, we're going to look at how you turn a regular PDF like this one with some simple fields into a document like this with fillable fields that users can fill out and then save in email or print out. So to get started with this, you need to find a program that's called the AdobeLiveCycle Designer, and that's usually under All Programs, and then under Adobe it has its own folder, and then click on the application to launch it. So here we have our original form, and to just go over the layout real quick, there are some different tabs over here that do some more advanced editing, right? One of them that you may use, it depends on how many fields that you have, is this last one, which is the tab order, and then when you click on that it gives you some information about that. So if you have a lot of different fields, you may want to check the tab order, so when a user is filling it out and they hit tab, it goes to the right field. If you enter them in order, you shouldn't have to play with the tab order, but if you've entered a few and then you forgot one somewhere in the middle, then your tab order will be messed up. But for now I'm going to close that so we have a little more real estate on our page. On the right hand side you will see the object library. These are the different things that you can insert into this document, and there's really only two that we need for this particular document. One is the text field, there's a lot of different text areas, and the other one is the checkbox, which we're going to be using in these existing checkboxes, and this one is nice and simple. Up here at the top there is a tab to preview your PDF, so once you've entered the fields you can hit this tab. We'll do this later so that you can see what it looks like, and I'll hit it now, and we don't have any fields in there, but we'll come back to this view, which is really great for testing. You can test the tab sequence and all of that stuff before you save it. So let's get started. The first field says employer name and address, and there's some text taking up this first line, and so I'm just going to make fields for the next two lines. So I'm going to click my text field, and I usually make these pretty tall because we need to check to make sure that our font fits in there. Okay. This little pop-up says to let text break into more than one line, allow multiple lines in the field tab. Okay, so I'm not going to do that on this particular one. Here on the object it says that it's a text field, and it says appearance sunken box, and if you want a sunken box you can. I always just do none, and let's look at the preview of that real quick. Okay, and then I want to just test the font size. Okay, so the font size is going to look good, but I think I want it a little bit farther down. Okay, so I'm just going to move this down just a little bit. It looks a little bit funny sometimes until you start filling it out. Okay, I understand it's not going to save that. Okay, so font. So that looks pretty good. I might move it in just a little bit. So I'm just going to move it in just a little bit, and I think that'll be about perfect. Okay, so from here, because this one is a good length, I'm just going to copy it, and I'm going to do Control-C on my keyboard and Control-V on my keyboard. I'm going to make another text box, and I'm going to line that up there. And then I'm going to go down to this next one, and I can do the same thing. I can just paste that again, and this one obviously doesn't need to be as long for this telephone number field, so I'm going to bring in the sides a little bit. I'm just going to pick it up, move that down just a little, and you can make this a little bit longer because sometimes the existing lines aren't long enough for a phone number. So I'm just going to make this plenty long so that the user has ample space to type in. And this is again another couple of fields, so I'm going to just paste that again and line that up. And I'm going to do the same for the next one. Just move this up, line it up at the end, and then drag in the side. Okay, so you guys can see how that goes. I just copy pasted. You could also do text field and make new ones, but I find it's easier to copy paste. Now we need to put these in. This is a checkbox, so I'm going to hit the checkbox, and I'm going to just click and drag the checkbox here. Again, it's going to be a sunken square, and I just like mine to be none. So let's look and see how that looks. Sometimes those are a little bit off. So it looks good, except that it's really off to the right. So let's see if we can get that fixed a little bit. So let's check our placement in the preview mode. And that was a good guess. Okay, so that looks good. So I just need to copy Control-C and paste Control-V, and I'm going to line that one up about the same spot. And I'm going to just double check that one real quick as well. That one looks good. So you get the idea. I just need to put in another text field here. I might as well do that, right? I'm going to copy this one because that one's also a little bit smaller. Line that up. This is a date field, so it doesn't have to be too long. Okay, and then preview. And then what I usually do is go through and hit the tabs. This one needs to come in a little bit, and just go through and just make sure that everything looks okay. And then when you're finished, you just go to File, and I got to be back in my other view, sorry about that. Go back to Design View, File, and then Save As, and call it whatever you want. And save it. And then you can put that up on the web or email it, and then people can fill it out and save it and send it back. So I just need to tidy up these fields just a little bit so that they are lined up, and I am done. So that's all there is to making a fillable form. I hope that this helps you get this task done. If you have any questions, let me know.